And really, really as the big flag for me is anything that happens after the school year starts. I mean, if we just need to bite the bullet, so to speak, and say, okay, we're not over, but we know it's gonna happen, or, I mean, I understand your position, but I just.
The choice is this: if you go with my recommendation, then Mrs. Beard stays in second grade unless there's an overage in another grade level. The students remain 3 teachers in that grade level, that helps them. Or if you don't approve my recommendation, Mrs. Beard stays in the second grade, and if we get an overage in another class, we have to add a teacher.
Right, and that's what I said when I said the worst case scenario, and I understand that
That's the choice.
Right.
And I think our whole predicament is when we saw the agenda, and the agenda says abolishment of a position. And we can't let that happen.
Yeah, if you read through the rest of it,
I know, but
read the whole thing.
that where it's very scary when you've already got 22, 24, 23 kids in every room.
And I think that's what I mean. I understand completely what you're saying, that you're not, and I guess I'm just saying that I think they not only need that one, but they need one more too, and I know that.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I know that you believe that too, probably, but you know, you're ultimately, it's your money.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a lot more teachers, but.
Exactly, I know. And I'm just willing to say that I think we're gonna have to squeeze in lots of other directions to come up with some money, rather than make this, I mean, right, my choice is that we would need to.
Mr. Hall, in the situation right now that we're in, you give us direction.
Well, that's a tough one, you know, because I know.
You want to keep Mrs. Beard in the second grade the way it is?
Yes, sir.
Well, I have to, because I know that that first grade bunch in 2 years have had in a couple hundreds of BIFs, which is an extremely amount of BIFs for that class size. So I almost have to you know, I'm in between a rock and a hard place. I want these kids to succeed. And in order for them to succeed, I'm going to have to get them in lower classes so that so we can kind of get them spread out a little bit more. So when you've got 10 discipline problems in one class or 15 in one class, it's hard. You know, if I get them split up, they'll do better. You know, but then again, I look back at my first grade, and we all know that first grade, in my belief, the first grade is the most critical time, the critical grade in all the 12 years of school. Because if they don't get it in the first grade, if we don't get it to them in first grade, the rest of the grades are not going to know. Not the kindergarten style one, and she'll agree that first grade is the meat. I mean, that's when they're learning to do all of the reading and the writing, the really serious writing. And so I'm in between a rock and a hard place. What do I say? Do I let the kids in second grade go under, or do I help out with the first grade kids? I don't know. Right now, if you ask me, I'd have to go with second grade, because I know that the first grade coming up is a little stronger than the first grade that's moving on. Am I correct? Right. So.
Okay, my second question to you. Are all these students in the Marlington school zone, elementary school zone?
They are.
Okay.
They are. I have diligently done what you guys told me to do last year. And I have contacted people, and I have lost some really good students because of that, and I hate it. But yes, I am following the policy to the hill. So I don't know what else to do. Unless, like you said,
we even have kids that live in Ronton that are going to another school, like.
Right.
Oh, my 2 girls are going to be coming to Marlington in second grade next year.
And I've had other parents talk to me, say they're interested in bringing their kids to our school. So, yes, sir. Everybody. Now, does that mean that there aren't parents out there pulling things on us? I don't know. I'm going by addresses. I'm checking with Miss Irvin. I'm checking, all that I can check,
We checked every student on his roster with buses. And there may be 2 students in the Frost area that used to live in Brush Country a month ago that moved to Frost that could get on a bus to go to Green Bank without an issue. But I don't know of any other students unless they're down this way. We checked every address. We even called the assessor's office to get the property, where the actual physical property was located, to be sure that his students were enrolled in this district and lived in this district, and they did. And I will attest to that because we did check all of them with each grade level that he had.
Okay, so we're saying that about every class you have, except if you leave Mrs. Beard here, then the second grade will be all right. But then if you have more students moved in the third grade, then we're going to have a...
Well, they would be fourth graders next year. They would be, because there's 24 in each of those third grade classes, they'll be fourth
That's your
grade.
biggest class.
That's my biggest
Will
class.
end up being the fourth grade.
Yeah, the next ones are 22 and 23. I mean,
And they're all just
yeah,
lapping over.
they are. So, yes, sir, the next year, if somebody would move into fourth grade at all, you know, we would, I could see us going over the numbers, correct?
Well, I'd like for us to do the student ratio like Mr. Hall asked, because obviously we need to address it. It's becoming a problem, more of a problem every year. And it is not fair to the kids, let alone the teachers. So-
Well, I think it's because we have such a large area.
Redistricting too, I think that's something that's.
So the zoning may be a thing, but we have such a large area in this Marlton district. I mean, we cover so much of the county, you know, so I think that's, you know, it could be a zoning thing. I don't know, I just know that our classes are bulging. And, you know, it's hard for us to understand when they say, well, we're doing 160 tests. They really do have to sit down with those students individually and go through those tests to make, you know, on the Palm Pilots, and they submit, you know, that's a major, major undertaking for them to do this. And it's to the point they come and beg me to, they say, can I do this so that I can get some of this testing done? Well, you know, we're on timelines here. I have to help them out as best I can. So yes, you know, I mean, we're the old saying, we're stealing from Peter to pay Paul to make this work. And that's exactly what we're doing.
But it's affecting the kids.
Well, sure.
Yes.
You're seeing it in our scores. I mean, if you haven't seen it in our scores, you're missing something. Our scores have dropped. Now, true enough, we have a new West test, and I do believe they will come back up because these guys are awesome. They're really doing some changes to make it better. But we've seen some major drops in our scores. And as these classes get bigger, you will see more drops. And I'm sorry, we'll do all we can, but there's some point where you just got to say, I don't know what else to do. And we're getting pretty close.
You're seeing drops in the West test score.
We are, yes. And we're seeing it in our Dibbles. We're seeing it in our Dibble score as well.
Also.
Yes, we're seeing it. And I can't say far as class scores in general, you know, the scores in the classrooms, but I am seeing it in Dibbles and I am seeing it in the West test. And that's really the two things that we live by for the most part. I'm just, you know, that's why I'm saying I'm a little concerned because we are seeing people move back into our community, which is great. We want these people in our communities, but, you know, somewhere, I don't know what else to do. I mean, keep shoving them in.
Is it because of the principal?
Yeah, they love me. That's exactly what it is. No, usually when they come to the door, go, oh man, he's the principal.
We'll come anyway.
I guess I'll do it anyway.
I mean, I just want to say one last thing. I do believe that this administration, I mean, you have tried to look at, I mean, those interventions, I mean, in the counseling, I mean, I know that you're trying. We just have to keep trying.
And I'd like to say Dr. Wall was very good about coming down and listening to us in a meeting, and he came down into Ms. Shaw's class. You know, that stuff means something to us because now you're down there with us. We would love for you folks to come in. I mean, I'm not going to give them a warning that you're coming. Just come in and I'll put you right in our classes and life goes on. And I'm not a bit ashamed to do that. I'm excited for you to do that. So,
I mean, if you're just doing small group instruction and reading with 22, that's an hour, easy. And, you know, that's pushing it to get them done in an hour. And with 23, 24, you're adding more time to that. That doesn't even give you time to do small group instruction in math, which you would like to be doing.
and with the new tier models, which we are trying to do, what that has to be, if Ms. Shaw is working with a group of kids who are tier 2, those are kids that are struggling, you know, and they have to have 30 minutes of tier 2 with Ms. Shaw. She has to do something with the other 15 or however many kids she has there, or 18 kids. Well, what do you do with them? It's not like she has another person just hanging around. So she has to create centers. Now you've got 18 kids out here in other centers. Now, we'd all like to believe that they're good kids and they're going to do the right things, but we've all been to school too. We know what that's like, you know. So there, you know, and then how effective it is that there's kids over here causing you grief, and these kids are standing here in tier 2 trying to understand what's going on. Now, where are they going to be looking, you know?
And that is something, you know, we always go back to saying it's a State Department. I don't know that at the State Department, everybody's aware of all the changes that, say, the reading program has implemented, then all the math program, to see that maybe at the state level,